All right, YouTube. Hope you're having a great weekend. I am Koosh. I'm here to do a weekend market update. We're going to make this one very, very concise. I'm going to do four topics. First of which being we're going to look at the general markets utilizing SPY, SPY, and why I think we're setting up to go much higher. Then we're going to look at a secondary metric that delves into what I believe is going to take us higher, and that is specifically some of the smaller caps, riskier, quote unquote, riskier down towards the further down the trough of the risk curve through the context of ARK denominated in SPY. That's inspired by one of a great follower, Cantonese Cat on X. I believe he's on YouTube as well. So I am stealing this concept from him. I want to give him proper credit, but he identified something that I'm going to present here for you all in case you don't follow him. And then finally, I'm going to go into Bitcoin and just the high time frame state of affairs. I did a members video earlier today where I took a deep dive into more evidence utilizing social metrics like YouTube engagements, followers, accounts, Twitter engagement, utilizing some data Ben Cowan presented recently, lining that up with the chart I'm going to share with you. I went into a deep dive into why I believe the market is offsides today and the evidence behind that. That's in the members video. And then finally today we've got a members request. So the members, you join our member group, and I'll occasionally do requests in the form of videos. And so we had one for Wolf. I'm going to get to that at the end today, which is a Bitcoin miner. All right, let's start off with SPY. And as I presented this, I believe a week or two ago, the count, the progression, everything here continues just to look as we've seen since 2022. And so the market continues to climb. It climbs a wall of worry. Why is it a wall of worry? Well, because let me move this up here because someone did ask me to move that. And I'm remembering. So the metric I have down here is called the Fear and Greed Index. Okay, at extreme greed, the index will get upwards of 99. We haven't seen any 100 readings quite yet. Yeah, we did. We saw one in July of this summer. In extreme fear, it gets down into the negative territory under the zero line. Our worst reading was this August, not surprisingly, that VIX spike that we saw there. And then we had another one, negative 20, this past December 19th. We've had a few back in October of 2023. So basically what I'm looking to do here is to say, is what we're experiencing now any different than anything we've seen in the context of the bull trend? The trend is up. There's no disputing that. As you all know, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just giving you my perspective to educate you as I have been here. Everything that I talk about could go up, could go down, could go sideways. I'm just here to give you my beliefs, whether they're right or wrong, the market will decide. What the market has told us since let's just go back to 2023, is anytime we've gotten below zero on the fear and greed, so in the fear territory, what has happened since these levels? And let's just say here are the set of circumstances that I'm looking to identify. From when it hits this fear zone, so I've got the green rectangle all the way up to the greed zone, okay? So fear, greed, fear, and then the highest point, greed. Let's just see what the market has done in those periods since this latest high time frame trend has been progressing. And so going back to September 2023, we hit this green rectangle zone, and that's defined by less than zero. And the market went down from September to October, another month, okay? So it didn't mark the bottom. It came back down to fear. but eventually it climbed out of it and got up to greed to the tune of 12% increase over the course of September, October, November, December, over the course of 4 months, which is actually an incredible return. If we're looking at the nominal S&P gains over a 10-year period being in the 11% range, so you did 12% in less than half a year. That's incredible. Okay, let's look at the second time that occurred. We had in April of 2024, that actually did end up marking the bottom here, and we got up to greed to the tune of 14% from April to July. So April, May, June, July. I mean, that's incredible. 14% over the course of 4 months. Again, just exceeding what you would expect in a good year on the S&P. And now here we are. We've got our next one, which was August, and we didn't hit that extreme greed, but let's just look at where it topped out on the greed to the tune of 15%, 15%. And if we come back even to 13%, that happened in the course of August through October. So 2 months, 13%. That's an incredible, incredible move. And here we are again, where we hit this level on Thursday, and much like we saw back in October, there was another low that was made, and that's what's going on here, right? So that didn't mark the bottom, okay? However, we're now about a month into it, and S&P's down 0.5%, 0.64%, retesting that fear zone, extreme fear zone, should I say, right? Kind of like we saw there, where fear actually is making a higher low, price is making a lower low, and here it kind of made equal lows, and price made a lower low. And so just looking at this objectively, the data tells me that the highest probability or the highest symmetry here is to the upside, to the tune of, I'm going to go the most conservative, 12%, which is the lowest that I've quoted or we've seen here since 2023. 12% from where we are right now would take us to my target. So not surprising, right? So I use a lot of different factors in my analysis, fibs, but a lot of what you're seeing here also goes into that and historic runs. And this is actually a very conservative forecast that I have for the next move for the S&P. And let's just say it takes 4 months. So we're going to say it goes up less and it takes longer. All right. So conservative on both sides compared to what we've seen so far. So let's say January, February, March, April, May, let's even say, we can pull that out to May. And so to me, that the symmetry here aligns with the upside, not the downside. Markets don't typically top in times of fear. And so that's what we're seeing. That's what I'm seeing as manifested in this chart. So let's just dive into some speculation next. What could I see? What could we see going into next week? If this is a daily chart, we've got almost an equal length A wave here as we potentially do right now with the C wave. And so even if we capitulate a little bit more Monday, Tuesday, I believe the symmetry here again is that way, okay? That way. So yeah, we could get a little bit more weakness Monday, Tuesday, or not, or it gaps up. I have no idea. That's just all guessing. What I'm here to do is give you my views on what I think is going to happen in the next 3-4 months overall. And so far, for those that have been following me for a while, that has been directionally accurate. Timing wise, not always accurate. That's the hardest part. Here's the next. This is ARK. This is the one I was crediting Cantonese Cat for identifying. ARK denominated in SPY. And so where you would expect markets to top out is when there's a lot of risk, right? A lot of risk, a lot of people investing in risk. Who's going to buy when everyone's already bought the riskiest stuff. That we saw manifested in itself very nicely in terms of a blow off top move here back in 2021, where the ARK stocks greatly outperformed the S&P, specifically SPY. Going into that setup, let's examine what it looked like. That's the key here. What did it look like going into it? Well, going into it, you had the market kind of establish a base, and then it undercut the entire base. So manipulation, reclaimed, kind of created a new base, faked out, and then came back to that initial demand zone, and then moved up and out, reclaimed the cloud here, and then made a move. That's the movement. Let me throw up the 30-week. And we can see that manifested in the 30-week, started to flatten out here. We got a reclaim of the 30-week and then uptrend. That's what preceded, and this is March, April, May 2017, right? And so this aligns with what Bitcoin did as well in altcoins, right? When we think about what did Bitcoin do at the end of 2017? What did altcoins do at the end of 2017, early 2018? These things are all used in the formulation of, hypothesis, and this most certainly, having been brought to my attention, matches and aligns with that very, very well. Now let's look at the setup here. This is now. What do we have in terms of structure? We have a selling climax. We have a secondary test, undercuts that selling climax, consolidation, out of the cloud, nope, fake out, undercut, the whole thing, spring. Okay, so Wyckoff principles in action here, reclaim test, and now boom, out of the cloud, reclaim the cloud. Where did my 30-week go? Reclaim the 30-week, it's coiling up. And so this looks very similar to the type of action we saw kind of coming out of this low, right? This low, spring test, reclaim, 30-week, kind of starting to point up. And so if anything, the bias here needs to be not only are we nowhere near any type of top in markets, the riskiest stuff, the bias here needs to be is going to outperform, which is why on my Twitter account, my subscriber feed is really dedicated to every week I post 15, 20 names on the weekends of some of these things like Square and PayPal and Tesla that look to me like they are the early stage expansion. And that's what this chart is also confirming as well. So this is very constructive. This is what you want to see. If we were all the way up here after some type of blow off move, that would be concerning. That would be concerning, but we aren't. Next, Bitcoin. We've got a very, very simple parabolic structure in front of us, much like we saw back in 2019. Okay, parabolic structure. It's very, very similar in terms of the curve. Generally speaking, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bases into the curve. And then between 3 and 4, you have your biggest move. Boom. We've got the same thing shaping up here. Same thing shaping up here where we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and the biggest move comes after these third and fourth touches on the base. Our extension here happened after this third touch. What I'm claiming is a potential fifth wave extension. And in the members video, I go into the social components that are completely opposite, mind you, of what we saw here. Here, I'm expecting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 type move over 300,000, continue to expect that while the majority are climbing this wall of worry. Where are we topping? More downside. Is this a top? That's the kind of thing you don't see at tops. So Bitcoin continues to look to me like the strongest of any of the assets that I cover, not surprisingly either. TeraWulf, this is the members' request. TeraWulf continues to look very constructive. I've got this. I haven't had a good read on this count for a while, but I think what we got going on here is an A, triangle B, and then a C wave. And in a C wave is an impulse. And so I've got a 1 running flat A, B, C. Whether it's ended or not, I don't know. A case could be made for it ending here. A case could be made for, a little bit deeper of a pullback. Either way, I don't care, right? The symmetry to me is what's going to happen in the next 3 to 6 months, not what's going to happen, in my opinion, in the next 2, 3, 4 days or weeks or whatever. The symmetry on this to me is to the upside, and the nearest term target for me on this is in the 17 to 20, low 20 range. Look at this volume. Look at that volume. This is accumulation. That is accumulation type volume as it continues to do what? Just continues to make higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows the entire way up. And we've just had this massive compression, if you want to look at it this way as well, kind of just compression, 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 where this thing, in my opinion, is looking to release this energy to the upside. The timing is always going to be the most difficult. If we look at this from a Wyckoff perspective, I have a preliminary support PS level here. We have a selling climax. We have a secondary test, LPS, 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 LPS backup, sign of strength. This is a sign of strength. This is a backup to that last point of support, which is this preliminary supply, preliminary support, PS. This is the point of maximum symmetry in a Wyckoff, right where we are right now. Again, whether we go lower or not is irrelevant to me. The 30-week is being breached right now, but that we've seen that in the past too. We saw that here in November prior to it moving from less than $1 to $3, and that went up in what two months straight. So Wolf to me continues to look very constructive. Confluence on everything that I look at: trend, Wyckoff, and Elliott wave, as well as volume. So I hope that helps. Hope you guys all have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks for the support. If you find this valuable, share it, like, and subscribe. Take care.